So first of all, thanks to Marcus and Anders for this beautiful office that they've let us bring all you guys to. If you need any help with your sales, it's proleads.io, right? Yeah, so Ella's so we're taking this first meetup, and thank you all for coming. So the idea was, okay, we want to focus on a few things, but the main thing we want to focus on is, can we do good in the world while still running a sustainable business, and really combining the two. And so what we're going to try to do each month is have some of you guys and bring in other people that are going to speak and kind of not give a demo or a pitch of what their business does, but quickly tell what the business does and then really break into what lessons hopefully specific to kind of, a mission-driven company, what lessons they've learned and what lessons they can kind of impart to you. And then most importantly, for you guys to really, ask the questions back. And like I said in the email, if you guys read it today, is, really the whole purpose of this whole thing is for you like-minded, us and you, like-minded people that really want to do good in the world, to come here once a month and really meet each other, because obviously you're going to have things in common, and you'll have projects you can work on, and you'll have things that you can, problems that you can help each other with. So that's the whole idea, and Ella and Seth are gonna talk, more about what's going on as well. Cool. So I help run a company called AnchorFree. We fight basically at the base of our company. The mission is we fight internet censorship, but we do that in a sustainable for-profit model. So the mission of the company is just to give secure, uncensored access to the world's information, basically the internet. That's not something that people can count on all around the world. And also, even in the U.S., if you're at like if you're at a Starbucks or public Wi-Fi anywhere, you're not really having a secure connection to the internet, and so we allow you to have that. Quickly kind of illustrating what we do. So basically, you turn us on. We're an application that you put onto your laptop or your mobile phone. You turn us on, and we encrypt and tunnel your data from the phone all the way to our servers, and then we run from our servers wherever your destination was going to be, protecting that whole exchange and keeping you secure and getting you past any blocks that might be. And so we do a bunch of stuff, but we have security. We separate you from your IP address so people can't track you. And really, what's kind of hard to see, but the most important thing is, like I said, is just access. So if you're in Iran today, you can't use Skype, you can't use WhatsApp, you can't use Facebook, you can't use a lot of stuff. You can't communicate. And so what we try to do is we try to get all that traffic off a person's computer or their phone, get it out of the country, past the country's filters, same thing in China and a lot of other countries, and then on to their destination. So they can use Skype, they can call their friend in Paris, they can call their friends in the US, from Tehran. And then that's not something that they're able to do without some help. And so what we want to do is we want to build that into something that all developers can build on top of. So we'll have an SDK, and then they can just put that into their app. And so if you're a Telegram messenger, which is one popular messenger, if you're Telegram messenger and your app says, hey, something's blocking me, I can't connect to the Telegram servers anymore, just an emergency thing will switch on, and we'll start routing the traffic, and we'll get that traffic out of the country and into their servers. And so we want all developers to be able to kind of access that kind of stuff. So now talking about, how do we do this? Obviously, like I said, we're a very mission-driven company, but how do we do this and still, make money? We do make a lot of money. We do have a good valuation. We do have good investors. So we're a freemium model. As most of you probably, how many people know what a freemium model is? Yeah, so it's basically what we're doing is we're allowing a large percent of our users to use us for free, ad supported. So that's how we make a little revenue on that side. And then some users upgrade to a premium service, and we make a bunch of revenue on that side. So how do we kind of balance this with the fact that we want as many people as possible to have access to what we're doing? And so it's not black or white. This really is judgment calls that you're going to have to make in your own businesses, which I'm sure you've already made in your own businesses. You can't you can't just be it can't be black or white. You can't just be altruistic. You need to come up with a model that will actually work for your business. And so a couple tenets that we have is, one is we don't want to get in the way of any communications or any information seeking or information sharing. And so we're very careful to not put anything behind a premium kind of paywall that involves any of those kind of activities. And so if you want to go to Facebook, if you want to use Skype, if you want to, send messages on WhatsApp, you're not going to ever have to pay. You're not ever going to have anything pop up and say, hey, you need to subscribe to us. We do make, like I said, we still make a little bit of money on the ads, but we're not going to get in the way of using it for free. However, we still want to obviously, prompt people at certain points in that kind of user flow of upgrading to our premium service. So if you want to use, if you're traveling and you want to get back to your Netflix account, so we can reassign you a US IP address. So in that kind of case, we're going to say, okay, hey, that's a pay feature. You need to upgrade to, our Elite, or, our premium experience. If you want to use, 5 gigabytes of data every single day through our servers, we're going to say, okay, after a gigabyte, we're going to say, okay, now you need to upgrade. A gigabyte is your limit for the day. So there's a couple things that we've thought of while we've been developing this company. I joined 2 years ago. The company's been around for about 6 years. So we want to make sure that we're building a company that's almost all types of investors would be interested in. That's what we tried to do. And so, yes, there's going to be impact investors. Yes, there's going to be, people that are specifically looking at those areas. But really, I think a good rule of thumb, at least for us and at least for me, is you need to have something that you could go into any investor and they would be interested in. There needs to be a solid business model that it's based on. And the social good, the impact that the business can do needs to be, that extra that gets you, gets you over the edge, but it can't be the whole base of why you're asking the investor for money. So another thing that kind of hurts me sometimes when I see it is, especially when you have like a donation model, but even when you have like a business model where you're getting users to pay for something, or have some kind of other revenue stream, is you see a business that's doing a lot of good, but maybe on a local level, maybe just with 10,000 users or 20,000 users, and the problem is they're not making enough money to go out there and hire another 10 developers. They're not making enough money to go out there and pay for some marketing. They're not making enough money to kind of expand out this mission that they have. Other thing that I think is really important, obviously everybody starts off not having these things, but a goal I think that's really important, and that we obviously do, is we want to be making enough revenue that we can actually expand the business out to millions of users, to a greater impact. Because there's, like I said, it's just a little bit painful to see something doing so much good, and then they just don't have the resources to kind of make it bigger. And so I think that's something to concentrate on. There's definitely times, so we have like 35 million active users per month, and there's definitely a lot of business models that you can build on top of that. Data is really, one of the newest business models. Everybody's paying for data. And so there's definitely where, yes, people offer us a ton of money to do something, and we need to turn it down. And that's something that's very specific, I think, to mission-driven companies, is you can't always say yes to everything, and sometimes you really need to make those tough decisions, and you need to be able to walk into a board meeting. So not always going to be, impact people or, mission-driven people. You need to be able to explain to them why you did it. And so one good example, we're a privacy service, and we won't sell our user data for and that's definitely something that needs to be understood throughout the executive team, understood throughout the entire team. That's there's certain things in our mission that we can't do, and that was one of them, and that's something that you need to think about with your own company. I think another thing that I think you can see with any kind of, even in like the charity space or mission-driven companies, is, and one thing that we've had to think about, because we're a service that people can use for privacy, and there's also other things they can do on the internet that privacy might allow them. And so there's definitely times that you have to think about, okay, what are we doing to make sure that, yes, we have this mission and we want to allow people to do a certain thing. What are we doing to make sure that that mission doesn't kind of creep out and someone uses it in the wrong way and actually kind of makes, you know, the world a worse place and not a better place. And so that's something you also need to think about, because especially mission-driven entrepreneurs get even more passionate about their idea, even more passionate about their business, and then a lot of times you kind of can get carried away and you kind of forget about the other, you know, really bad stuff that might be happening because of the path that you're on. And so that's something that we've tried to keep in mind. So I wanted to keep that short because I want to really make this more interactive. But you can reach me there. Obviously, you have my information because I'm one of the organizers of the meetup. But feel free to reach out.